damage with that. Just east of Little Rock, a line of storms just south of I-40 and the one tornado-warned area still with two storms, one in southeastern Polk County and one near Wicks in southern Polk County. So all of these are moving off to the northeast. All right, let's go over to meteorologist Todd Yacobian, and we have gotten some fantastic pictures and video in this afternoon. Todd?
Yeah, I want to show you. This is a picture that came to us, again, photo at KATV.com. This is near Amity and Glenwood. And we can't tell whether or not this is on the ground just because of the horizon, the trees. But this is definitely a wall cloud that we have circled here, and it is a large one. This is the lowering. This is the rain-free updraft base is what we call it, where the tornado comes out of. And you can see we just can't tell whether or not there's tornado. Let's move on. And we got this picture. What appears to be a lowering here, maybe funnels, some rotation with that, and I believe that was near Amity as well. And then we got this picture where a lot of the damage was caused as a confirmed tornado, and you can see it right there. This caused a lot of damage to homes and trees and power lines down in and around the Odin community. 3,200 people in Garland County, the last time I checked, without electricity, according to Entergy and their website. But there's an obvious tornado, and the most stunning video that we have had come into us all day long. Let me get out of the way. Jason Shamlin sent this in to us. He says a guy named Robert took the actual video, though. Brady Mountain, you see Lake Washita, and there's the tornado crossing the lake, blowing away the myth that lakes, rivers, mountains, all those things stop tornadoes from occurring. No. They'll go right over it. So technically it became a water spout, I guess. But you can see what it's doing is, what a tornado basically is just a huge, giant vacuum cleaner. And it's sucking all that water up out of the lake and throwing it into the storm and into the tornado as that came across. And Barry, do we have the map from Entergy showing, on VRAD? I think if we can go to that right now, let me just show you. That's Lake Washita. The south side where Brady Mountain is located, the south side and the north side, completely without power, due in part to high thunderstorm winds and the tornado. So a large section, that kind of verifies where all that was near Royal. Again, this is according to the Entergy website, and this is back towards Odin. All these communities, you see the grid here without electricity, as yet a separate storm, a different one, hit this community and then moved up towards the north and east, and they're without electricity as well. We've got reports of some injuries, and we're going to have more on that in the news in just a little bit. Let's send it back to you guys in the Weather Center. Ned?
Let's go to our 5 live Doppler radars right now, and we'll show you that there has been a weakening trend, and this is always some good news when we can bring this up. We're not letting our guard down at all, but all those thunderstorms that produced that damage and those brought in those pictures from Garland County all the way up into Perry County, northwestern Saline County, these storms have weakened. They've just become quite disorganized. The only other tornado warned area is for this storm here in southwestern sections of Polk County, but it also has become somewhat disorganized, and that tornado warning is only in effect until 5:15. So as we go to our graphics computer, we'll show you an overview of the warnings that we've got going on. One strong thunderstorm coming out of southeastern sections of Jefferson County into Arkansas County between DeWitt and Stuttgart, and then another strong storm still in Garland County, but it's non-rotating storm, and we still have the tornado watch that's in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. Barry.
But first we want to let our viewers know a little bit about the damage and injuries that have been coming into us throughout the afternoon as these storms pass through Arkansas. We have been hearing reports of 3 injuries in Clark County, at least 1 injury in the Odin area. But for the latest information, we want to go to Tommy Jackson with the Department of Emergency Management. And let's start there, Tommy, with the injury reports. What can you tell us?
Hi again, Christina. The situation in Clark County is as you said, that's the latest I have on that, is 3 injured, and don't have the extent, but it was the extent of their injuries did require all 3 going to the hospital there. In that particular storm, I have 1 home destroyed and 3 others having minor damage, and then according to the report, several outbuildings in Clark County were either destroyed or heavily damaged. And then the other report of injury is in is in Montgomery County, and the report says multiple injuries. Now, and I realize that's and I'm not laughing at the injuries, but it's the multiple injuries. I know doesn't give you folks in the media a lot to go on because I don't have a number of people injured or the extent of their injuries, but nonetheless, the report does say outside of Odin along Highway 88, multiple injuries. There is a house destroyed there was at least one home destroyed on the west side of Odin, and that's actually all of the injuries I have at this time. Of course, I know you guys from listening to your weather, it's still a dangerous situation out there, so hopefully that won't change injury-wise.
But you're right about that word multiple. It really doesn't let us know how many we're looking at, but I know that will become clear as the evening goes on. Let's move into power lines, trees. We've heard a lot of them down. Where are some of the most significant areas as far as that goes?
Well, I think that is fairly widespread. For example, I have a report of straight line winds knocking a tree onto a roof in Mountain Home up in Baxter County, and the report when it was submitted said water was coming into the home. But damage with power lines down, it is such a dangerous situation. And if you're in an area, if you live in an area and are trying to get out of an area where power lines may be down, be very careful. Be very careful, and certainly this time is not a time to be coming into an area where you're just wanting to take a look at the damage, because sightseers can be hurt or even worse too by this power situation. So for the next few hours, that's going to be a real dangerous situation. And you kind of alluded to it there about what not to do, but at this point, what can we do and what should we be doing to be sure everybody stays safe? Well, I think let the first responders do their jobs is the basic thing to do. They've been there and done that. They know what they're doing. They know where to go check on people and bring the assistance to people that is needed. And then every time we have an evening like this, we always like to tell people to if they don't have a disaster or emergency kit in their home, it's time to begin one and begin your tornado drills and just like your weather team so aptly says many times, do the drill and know where to go during a storm, and the bottom line is it saves lives. Well, we thank you very much, Tommy.
Barry Brandt.
All right, everybody. We had said earlier that most of the storms looked like they were dying down, but to not let your guard down with good reason. A new tornado warning now in western Arkansas, east of Mena. This is east of you, Mena, and it's moving away from you. But there is a very strong indication of rotation with this storm in northeastern Polk County, P-O-L-K County, moving into northwestern Montgomery County. And our VRAD is showing that signature there. If you just looked at the reflectivity or just looked at the rainfall, you wouldn't see it. But we can look inside the storm and look at the rotation, even that far away from the radar site. Now, this is the western Arkansas radar that we're mainly concentrating on, as this storm moves from northeast of Board Camp over toward the area around Odin. And Odin, you were already hit earlier today, but this storm would be in your vicinity anyway if it holds together and moves off to the northeast. And there are a couple of other strong areas of rotation down to the southeastern part of Polk County and to the east of Wicks in Polk County. Now, all of these are moving off to the northeast, and we're just looking at just a few frames here since we've been looking at the western Arkansas radar. But we'll go back through frame by frame, and you can see how that storm has sort of exploded in the eastern part, northeastern part of Polk County. So that's a tornado warned area, and that will be for another 30 minutes or so. Another severe thunderstorm warning, southeastern Yell County. That's moving right up along the Perry and Yell County line, and then from Garland County still back into Saline County. This storm system through the Hot Springs Village area is indicated as a severe thunderstorm warning. We also have other severe thunderstorm warnings, and that storm has really grown down to the south of Stuttgart in southwestern, kind of the west central part of Arkansas County. Isn't rotating. Likely, though, we'll have some hail with it and some damaging winds. It's just such a huge storm that it has a lot of rain, and as rain falls out of a storm, it pulls air down with it, and you can have damaging thunderstorm winds. So we do have that new tornado warning over in western Arkansas. We're going to keep an eye on that storm. But first of all, let's go back to some brand new pictures that we have And this one coming in, a still picture of that storm that we saw over Lake Washita near Brady Mountain Recreation Area. Drew Wright sent this one in, an obvious tornado in between the mountains of the Washitas there and over Lake Washita. This is an obvious tornado that Drew Wright just sent in to us via Twitter. And you can send those pictures to us a whole bunch of different ways. Photo@KATV.com, also another way. This one earlier today near Odin, and there are a bunch of power outages near Odin. That's northwestern Montgomery County, an area that right now is under a tornado warning. And near Royal in southwestern Garland County, we were showing where the tight rotation was there earlier this afternoon. Lo and behold, pictures of damage, debris out in the field. Looked like a part of a shed or a roof. And then the tree right alongside the road there has been destroyed by what appears to be a tornado. And so we have that slight to moderate risk coming into our state. But this is the best video that we've seen so far today. And this is that, well, we showed you a still image of this tornado, but this is video of the tornado as it crosses Lake Washita. Folks will say, oh, I live next to a lake. It can't hit me here. Well, it can, folks. That's a myth. Or near a mountain range. A tornado, if it is of size, can go anywhere it wants to. And that is a clear indication that that is happening, or it happened earlier this afternoon. Hey, want to thank Jason Shamlin for sending that photo in to us here at the station. Well, a broad area of the middle part of the country under a tornado watch. Those areas in green. We do have the 2 tornado warnings for Polk County and Montgomery County. It looks like one of those has expired just right now in southern Polk County. So the only one is northeastern Polk into northwestern Montgomery County. But we're part of a larger storm system. The frontal boundary itself, it's not here yet. All right, we are back with a look at our our VRAD radar, actually, and we're going to show you that tornado warning that is in the western part of the state. It's northeastern Polk County into northwestern Montgomery County. Also, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for south of there. That's the southeastern part of Polk County and western Montgomery County. And then northwestern Saline County, the area on west of there on Highway 10 over toward Danville is in a severe thunderstorm watch box, as well as an area in western Arkansas County. But the tornado warned area is right here where the greens and the reds come together. And that's east of Board Camp, which is over in Polk County, and moving toward an area which was hit earlier around Odin. And there's the latest one, and it again has a tornado vortex signature. I'm seeing good shear on it on our 5 live Doppler radars as well. It's in at least the moderate category, and there is at least the chance that it is a tornado warned area, or there's a tornado on the ground. Also, there is some rotation in that storm down to the south of that on our back to our VRAD if we can see it, but right along Highway 88 there is the area in question. And I still see some rotation down here to the south of Big Fork, but it doesn't look like that is a tornado warned area. You folks, though, in that area, you need to watch out for this storm. But the most pronounced rotation is headed toward Odin, perhaps just to the northwest of there, and to Highway 88 right along that corridor. It will eventually move up. It'll move up into the Highway 270 area, and then on to the northeast. But where you see greens and reds together like that, folks, we saw that earlier today, and we're seeing it again. So if you're in that red box, you've got to take cover. Let's go back to our graphics computer. We did have video of a storm that looked just like that as it crossed the east end of Lake Washita near Brady Mountain, and there it is. It's video coming into us from that area there. Beautiful area along the south side of Lake Washita, and there you can see it as it tracks across the lake, and that is a pretty impressive and obvious statement of a tornado there, and a confirmation that our radar returns were exactly as they appeared to be, and we feared that they were, that there was actually a tornado on the ground. Back to our VRAD radar, and the bright reds and greens, I think, are maybe even getting brighter green and brighter red as they move over into Montgomery County. Folks, this is very mountainous terrain, but there are a number of you folks that live to that area west of Odin, between Odin and Mena, and this is the time to take the safety precautions that you hopefully have in place already. Lowest floor of your home, the most interior part of your home, a small bathroom or closet. And a lot of times a tornado, if it's not a large tornado, which most of them aren't in Arkansas, they're very survivable. You can have roof damage, you can have outer wall damage, and you don't have complete catastrophe as far as the entire structure being gone. And you can survive these things. So that's the area to go to if indeed you sense that storm is coming. But be forewarned that this is an area that is likely, probably anyway, seeing a tornado. Even if it's not, take cover anyway. And I know that there are a number of you that are without power there. If you've got a way to maybe there's still cell phone coverage, if you've got friends that live in that area, you need to go ahead and contact them by text or by cell phone and tell them that there is another tornado within that area, again, along Highway 88. Well, we'll have much more coming up tonight on Channel 7 News at 6, and we'll be checking back with you as need be for a look at these storms. Again, this tornado-warned area is moving into Montgomery County, but for right now, a lot of these storms, Ned, are beginning to die out in the central part of the state, at least not a tornado-warned area.
The one storm that's in Polk County right now, moving into Montgomery County, still getting a tornado vortex signature that there is rotation with the storm. So that's the only tornado warning that we've got in the state right now. We'll continue to watch it carefully over the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll update you as need be, and we'll have a full report coming on tonight at Channel 7 News at 6.
And I'm sure we'll have much more in the way of video and images as well. We'll pitch it now back to Christina and to Beth.
Channel 7 Chief Meteorologist Ned Permy.
Well, we had a day of rest from yesterday's severe weather, which was nice. Tomorrow, maybe another round of thunderstorms we're going to talk about. But one thing I do want to mention, so far, ground surveys have been done by the National Weather Service, and 4 tornadoes confirmed. One at Rocky, tornado there, and that was in Polk County, an EF1. Cove, and that was in Polk County as well, an EF2 reported there. Also Royal, this one in Garland County, in the same storm that we had pictures of crossing Lake Ouachita, and that was an EF1, and also in Odin, an EF2, and that was in Montgomery County. So ground surveys will continue for sure over the next couple of days, and that is always done by the National Weather Service. Very warm, very humid.
Barry, thanks. Some sad news to start off with tonight. The sheriff of Scott County is dead after a daring midnight rescue attempt during a flash flood. The heavy rains also killed a woman trapped in her car, and 3 other people are still missing. Channel 7's Jason Peterson is in Scott County, where more than 200 officers and volunteers continue to search. What can you tell us, Jason?
Well over 200 people, in fact, have been searching the banks of this river all day long. I can look upriver and see one person on the bank looking right now. It's about 300 yards from here where he is, but it's about a mile from here where that daring rescue attempt took place. Sheriff Carpenter was not alone on that rescue attempt. First Class Officer Joel Campora was with him. Campora is still missing, as are the 2 women the men were trying to rescue. Now, the body of Sheriff Carpenter was found about a mile downstream from here at 8 this morning. The bodies of the others could be anywhere in between or even further away from the rescue attempt. A helicopter, cadaver dogs, and lots of people on foot have been out searching for the missing. A frantic 911 call was made around midnight by 2 women who said rising waters had trapped them in a home near the intersection of Highways 270 and 71. That home is no longer there.
Shortly after they launched, as they approached the residence, the flooding waters were starting to rise rapidly. Other deputies on scene heard a loud crash. They thought that the bridge had actually collapsed. Looking into it further, they discovered that the house had imploded as a direct result of rising waters from Mill Creek.
Now, locals tell me this river you see behind me is normally a low-flowing creek. It's been created by this flash flood. Normally, you wouldn't even be able to fish in this river. But to give you an idea of the amount of water that was coming down this valley last night, look at this tree and look up the debris line. I would be at least 15 feet, 20 feet underwater right now if I've been standing here just less than 24 hours ago. So the search will continue, but not for much longer. They're only going to search until 6 o'clock tonight. There are many reasons for that. We'll get into those tonight at 6. But until then, reporting live in Scott County, Jason Peterson, we'll send it back to you.
Okay, Jason, thanks so much. Tragic news there out of Scott County tonight. We appreciate that. Well, the storms also caused some major damage in Perrin, uprooting dozens of trees and damaging several homes there. Channel 7's Janelle Lilly is live outside a church where winds ripped the roof from the building. Janelle.
Well, Beth, normally when Pastor Andy Justice and his wife hear about storms coming their way, they move from their mobile home to their nearby church. But last night they just didn't have time. And when they walked out of that mobile home and looked at the roof, they believed that was a blessing.
Normally, when storms are coming, we would go to the church building.
But last night, Pastor Andy Justice and his wife didn't have time to leave their mobile home for the concrete church.
It was just seconds, less than 2 minutes.
Instead, they sought sanctuary in the bathroom of their trailer.
You could hear the tin flying and debris flying. I just knew any minute the house was going to go with us in it. And all I can say is, Jesus, help us.
Miraculously, the mobile home stood strong in the winds, which flipped a nearby trailer. The church's metal roof twisted around a tree. Even the Justice's dog, Abbott, survived, though his home was destroyed.
Moved the house over to the edge of the porch, and it took out part of the floor in it. And he was in there. I don't know. I finally found his pillow. It was several feet away. And he come up right after the storm, and he was okay.
Another miracle and another reason why this man of faith believes the hand of God will provide as the church picks up the pieces and rebuilds.
The Lord knew we didn't need to be in that church because that's where we would have been. If we'd have had a 5-minute warning, we'd have been there.
And an insurance adjuster already stopped by today, along with folks in the community volunteering to help. And from what I understand from Pastor Justice, there are more crews coming up to help with cleanup again tomorrow. Live in Parent, Janelle Lilly, Channel 7 News.
Okay, Janelle, thanks so much. Well, those severe storms knocked out power to thousands of Arkansans. At its peak around 8:30 this morning, 31,600 Entergy customers were in the dark. And right now, more than 7,800 are still without electricity. The most outages are in Pulaski, Montgomery, and Garland counties. Entergy says crews are working around the clock to get the power restored.
An Arkansas sheriff is dead, and an Arkansas wildlife officer is feared dead after flash flooding hit Scott County overnight. It appears a daring rescue attempt left 4 people dead, and heavy rains killed another woman trapped in her car in western Arkansas. Jason Peterson spent the day in Scott County and joins us with the latest. Jason.
Now, the water you see behind me is usually a low-flowing creek. Not anymore, but it is lower than it was around noon today, and as that water drops, it creates new areas that need to be searched. However, the search, at least for today, for 3 missing people is over. A National Guard helicopter hovers about a half-mile downstream from where a daring rescue attempt around midnight went terribly wrong.
Other deputies on scene heard a loud crash. They thought that the bridge had actually collapsed. Looking into it further, they discovered that the house had imploded as a direct result of rising waters from Mill Creek.
Scott County Sheriff Cody Carpenter and Wildlife Officer Joel Campora responded to a 911 call and were attempting to rescue 2 women. Sheriff Carpenter's body was found 8 hours later, about a mile downstream. Officer Campora and the 2 women the men were trying to save remain missing.
All I can say is I would ask everyone for their thoughts and prayers to be with Wildlife Officer Campora and his family. He was the epitome of what a wildlife officer should be, and he was doing what he was trained to do last night.
The power of the flash flood can be seen by looking at this old gas station. Normally 20 feet above the creek, water went in one side and out the other. And the width of the floodwaters has created an area to be searched much larger than the banks of a still raging river.
We're discovering all sorts, of course, of obstacles, log jams, snakes, boulders, all sorts of areas that's making it extremely difficult for the search and rescue personnel who's trying to get out there to do their job.
Now, about a half hour ago, a flat-bottom boat powered by a fan swamp boat was going up and down this river, looking into the debris piles you can see along each bank. That is where Sheriff Carpenter's body was found, about a mile from here, in one of those debris piles. Those debris piles create a big problem for searches because it's hard to see under them. Now, tomorrow, weather permitting, rain might be a factor, but tomorrow, weather permitting, the Arkansas Forestry Commission is going to bring in some big equipment to help searchers deal with those debris piles. Reporting live live in Scott County. Jason Peterson, we'll send it back to you.